All right, haven't done one of these in a while. I've been working on my hot rod, got it running. I've also been doing some lifting, pretty good for 67, huh? Anyway, I'm talking to my guy, Aaron Mershman, and he tells me that he was talking to some guy who mentioned me, I guess, or maybe Aaron brought me up, but the guy knew who I was and said, yeah, this guy, Strollo's probably right about things, but I'm just a ball coach. And when I heard that, it made me laugh because, McNally always said that to me. Um, you say all these big words and stuff, and the coordinators get nervous, but it never ceases to amaze me. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of learning? I mean, just think about this stuff. Nothing I say on these videos is out of the realm. It's not rocket science. It's pretty easy. Okay, I got this thing written right here, and I'm going to go through it real quick, and then we're going to go back and do each one. Change. Okay, as an offensive lineman, you have to change your opponent. You're probably the only athlete in all of sport that has to change his opponent against that opponent's will. You say, well, defensive lineman, nah, yeah, I shed the guy, but basically I'm just concerned with where the ball is. I can't think of another sport where you change your opponent as the job other than offensive line. I've got to take a guy and move him from one spot to another. That we've called that work. And it's not a big deal, but we create change. We don't let the opponent change us. That's where we came, Jim McNally with what do you call it? What do you call it? Yeah, I forget what he called it. Anyway, but we just call it, rooting and what have you. Okay, but we create the change. We don't let the opponent change us. We're not created by the change. When that happens, we're out of control. Okay, the next thing is momentum. It's a word that I used over the years. Everybody knows what it means. Momentum is mass times velocity. A bus or a runaway beer truck coming down the hill. Big heavy things, got a lot of momentum. Hard to turn it. Okay, but that's one type of momentum. That's direct momentum. Another type is angular momentum. That's something at an angle that creates change. Okay, if you have something, I want to go pick something up off the ground. I want to pick up this blanket here. Okay, I can change the position of that blanket pretty easy. I don't need a tool to do it. Okay, but when I have a heavy, fat, 350-pound defensive lineman in front of me, it's difficult for me to run off the ball and knock that guy off. Now, if he's at an angle and I hit him in the ear or in the neck, yeah, I got a better chance of knocking him off the ball. But guess what that is? It's an angle. So what we want to do is discern the load that we have to deal with, okay, whether it's a DB in front of us, a little skinny guy, or it's a big 400-pound three technique. We want to use the type of momentum that's most efficient. If it's a DB, yeah, run off the ball. Just make sure that you're not so out of control that he can dodge you. Okay, so you've got to maintain that demeanor. That's the word I was trying to think of. Jim McNally demeanor. I don't call it demeanor, but that's basically what it is. It's demeanor. He had the arms going and all that stuff, and we don't believe in that. But anyway, if you need an angle because the man is too big and strong, he overmatches you or matches you. Okay, and we know that we're going to hit something head on that's the same strength as we are. We're going to get a stalemate. Stalemate's a loss. It's a zero-sum game for us. We want is an angle. Now, hooks are an angle. Tearing is an angle. What we're doing is we're creating angles through the use of tools. Okay, I know this. I can strike something that isn't much of a resistance. There's not much of a load there. I can strike a DB and I can push a DB. I can shove him around. I can make myself longer because his load is not as heavy. Whereas if it's a defensive tackle, I got to tighten up. I got to lock everything up and transfer the force to my hips. Okay, that's an angle. And what we found over the years is this is all well and good. I'm flipping this guy up. I used to call it lifting, but I'm fighting gravity. And what we learned was angular momentum from the side using a hook and tearing. I use gravity to my advantage. In other words, when I'm trying to flip him up, I'm trying to fight his force plus his mass plus gravity, which is the number one thing. Okay, so let's use gravity to our advantage. It's not a big deal. But in any event, we're using tools. Okay, if I got to hammer a nail, okay, into sand, I can do it with my fist. But if I got to hammer it into wood, I need to augment through use of a tool. Okay, I need to create momentum with that hammer. It's as simple as that. It's not a big deal. Okay, this is a tool. That's what it is. It's a tool. Okay, running off the ball is not a tool. Okay, it's direct momentum. Angular momentum, we've already got an angle. Okay, I'm not fighting the guy directly. They're tools. Okay, not a big deal. Now, another word that I use quite a bit is acceleration. What acceleration means is change in speed, change in momentum. I go fast, I stop. I stop, I go fast. Okay, I change my velocity through acceleration. Now, you notice what I did. I condensed. Some guys call this twitch, but it's a skill. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some people have more twitch than others. But guys that use it inefficiently, that don't condense, don't change, they don't accelerate quite as quick as they have to in order to play football or anything, tennis, whatever. Okay, you ever see a tennis guy play like this? No, everybody. Basketball, playing defense, right? Hands up. They want to stay under the glass. They don't want to stand up because they can't change. They can't move around. And when we say condense, when we condense our arms, okay, Mike Tyson throwing hooks. He's not doing it with his arm. He's doing it with his trunk and his hips. He's locking that arm up to throw the big punch. When you're jabbing, okay, boom. All those things are different loads. Jab, I can do pretty much. I'm just trying to hold the guy off. Jab, jab, jab. When I go for the overhand strike, boom, I pull, push. Okay, that's the way I do it. Different tools. Okay, the Mike Tyson uppercut or the hook, he ain't hitting with his arm. He's making that muscle tight. He's co-contracting, and he's boom. He's hitting it with his hips. Okay, or his trunk. The trunk is so important. Everybody knows that. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and to me, any of this stuff, if you don't understand this, you shouldn't be coaching. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Because there's a lot of guys that don't understand this that are coaching at very high levels. They don't want to understand it. And believe me when I tell you, I don't know if I'm as good of a coach as I am of a guy that sort of watches stuff. Okay, but I pretty much, if you watch films of my guys, they're pretty much doing what the drills are. So I feel pretty good about that. Right now, of course, I'm not coaching. I'm not coaching. I don't know. So that ought to tell you everything. Bill Parcells says you are what your record says you are. My record right now is 0-0, so I'm a zero. I'm not coaching. Uh, but I do know that any of these things, this stuff is true. You can't deny it. You can watch it on film and you can identify it. Okay. And if you're doing drills, like, You're standing there trying to run off the ball on the boards all day with a guy that's holding the shield. Great, that's all well and good. Put your defensive lineman in front of there and see how many times you punch him right off the ball, run him off the ball. You don't. Okay? You don't do it. I defy anybody to show it to me. Anybody that's striving against an opponent, it's not like that. It's a stalemate. You got to use some tools. Okay. Anyway, now the last thing I want to talk to you about is a drill that teaches acceleration. And acceleration, remember, is controlling your momentum to change it. Okay, can I go from full speed to stop? Can I go from stop to full speed? Yeah, you can, sort of, but not really. What you want to do is make sure that you're condensed. Okay, again, just like the ice skater, she starts out spinning like this. And if she wants to speed up, she condenses her arms, and that makes her go faster. Okay, she wants to slow down, she expands her arms and makes her go slower. Okay, when I'm condensed like this, it's easier for me to change direction. Pretty simple. I mean, everybody knows. You know, what are we talking about? Anyway, I want to talk about the jitterbug. This was something that we've done over the years. I've done it, I've not done it. I think it's one of the best drills there is. Somebody sent me an old anon video of us doing, the different drills. And like I've said before, the meatball drill was basically to learn how to keep your hands disconnected from your feet so that you could keep your dukes up and you could apply your hands to the defender, because we all know if we apply our head to the defender, we can move him. But if he sheds us or moves us, we have a problem. So we've got to get our hands on to push our head off. Okay, that was the reason, to make sure that your hands were tight enough using the meatball. Okay, but the jitter, we take a meatball. I should have thought about it to get a meatball. And we start with this. These are just basic moves, okay? We're condensed, and we take brace, replace, rewind, rewind, shuffle, shuffle, hammer. That was the original jitter. Okay. I don't know if I was doing it now. I think I would go skip, brace, replace, rewind, rewind, shuffle, shuffle, hammer. And let me just talk about each of those steps. I think everybody knows red light. I'm in an open space. There's no threat, no immediate threat. There's possibilities, but I'm in a bubble. Okay, I can't touch anything. Okay, so the brace idea was to get moving in my area. Okay, but not to go so far that if I'm needed someplace else, I can't return. So the idea was to brace, realize if nothing's coming, be ready, be condensed, ready to accelerate if something is coming, but nothing's coming, replace, go back to the original Jim McNally demeanor, rewind, rewind. That's teaching you how to go back to where you're feeling, not what you're seeing. You're keeping your eyes in your area, but you're making your space bigger because it's empty. And you're going to help somebody with a chip, okay, shoulder roll, chip, whatever, okay, and you're going to be like a rock, okay? So, brace, replace, rewind, nothing, rewind, okay, little steps, because why are you in a hurry? You're in space. I mean, what are you doing? Slow yourself down. Well, do you move slower, or do you just shorten up your steps? Shorten up your steps, right? I mean, it's not that hard. Shuffle, shuffle. There's nothing. You can't feel anything. There's no help. You're just buying time for a looper. You're buying time for a run through from a safety. Shuffle, shuffle, hammer. You're getting clogged up now. You're getting close to your guy. You're going to give him a little help. And you're hammering. When you hammer, eyes on your space, and then go through, and you're probably assigned to the linebacker anyway. It's pretty simple stuff. It takes a little while for the kids to do it, but if I can do it, brace, replace, rewind, rewind, shuffle, shuffle, hammer. and we do it one way, then we do it the other. Brace, replace, rewind, shuffle, shuffle, hammer. Pretty simple. Now, if I was going to add something, I'd add skip. Okay, so skip to me is wrong foot. So I'm going this way, I move this foot first. I'm going this way, I move this foot first. So skip, brace, replace, rewind, rewind, shuffle, shuffle, hammer. Again, pretty simple. Okay. The reason why I like skip is I can stay in a hitting position a little bit longer. All right. Originally, when we added scoot, double brace, you had to be going forward. Okay, so scoot was a whole nother deal. Okay, you couldn't scoot in the jitterbug. But I can skip. My feet have stayed back. My weight's going forward. I go to replace, rewind, rewind, shuffle, shuffle, hammer. Pretty simple. Okay, I thought I'd give you that. Why is the jitterbug important? Acceleration. Teaches you how to keep your hands, your dukes up. Teaches you how to condense, because you can't do it. Can't do it standing up. And keeps your tools ready, keeps your toolbox ready in case you need it to create change. Okay? Hopefully it's not going to rain. I think I'm going to go out and work on my hot rod a little bit. I got to grease up all these joints. I think 70 years old, and some of the joints haven't been greased in a long time. Almost as old. Well, it's older than me. Anyway. Okay. Hey, let me know what you think. Okay. It ain't that hard, boys. It ain't that hard.